Hey, Boaz here with Next Pittsburgh. We're here in the North Shore in what used to be a casket factory, and it's still a factory. They're not making caskets anymore. They're making glasses frames. It's the American Sun and Reader factory, and to tell us all about it, we've got Caitlin, who's in charge of marketing and product development here. Thanks for having us, Caitlin.
Yeah, thanks so much for coming.
So on the other side of the store is a factory.
Yes, it is. It's an eyewear factory.
Well, let's go take a look.
All right, let's go.
Oh my gosh, so already there's just like machinery wherever you look.
Yeah, we have quite a few machines in this room and some others, and each one of them is a single step in the process. So we'll walk you through it.
And looking behind me right now, it looks like these are some raw materials. This is just like a whole slab of tortoiseshell.
Yeah, this is what's called acetate, which is what a lot of glasses are made out of, like the ones that you're wearing right now. And so as you can tell, it's not super shiny or anything yet, but once it gets cut and then tumbled and then polished and assembled, it ends up being a finished pair of glasses.
And this is like pretty unusual to be making glasses here in Pittsburgh, because you were saying before that like in the 80s, pretty much all glasses production went overseas.
Yeah, so there used to be more factories in America making glasses. There's only a handful of them now. We're the only one in Pittsburgh for sure. Possibly the only one in Pennsylvania. You'll have to fact check me on that. But yeah, most glasses, if you look at the inside of your glasses, are typically made in China or sometimes Italy. But so we decided to do it here.
Cool. Well, I love it. Okay, so where are we going first? What's the first step?
The first step will probably be, let's see how the frame front is cut out. Okay?
The giant slab we saw, they cut it into smaller rectangles, and now they're cutting out the eye holes.
Yes, exactly. After that, they're going to cut around the sides of it as well, so that it's a finished front. So they're even making the groove on the inside, so when somebody's lenses are cut and edged into there, they'll fit properly.
Oh my gosh, Annie, you should take a look at this weird machine over here that's like showing, I guess, what the drill's doing.
Yeah, so that's the design. That's part of our design software. After a frame is designed, we import it into different segments so that it knows the exact millimeters that it should be drilled and edged down. But if you look here, what it's doing is this machine is cutting out all of the temples. The temples are the pieces on the side of your glasses that hold them to your ears, and it's just drilling it out.
What about the nose parts?
Oh, the nose part, that happened actually in there. So what happens is prior to us cutting anything, we take other little pieces of acetate, we weld them on just through friction, so that way when things are cut out, there's a little buildup of both the nose and where your temples meet your frame front.
That's sort of the little, part sitting on your...
Yeah, it's what's called the nose pad. So that's what this turns into. So it's really, really like rudimentary at this point. But once it's cut and milled and then polished, it's completely different. So this is the Hinge machine. This is a specialty machine that after we drill these little pockets, which are just sort of like a hole that doesn't go the whole way through, Cynthia actually does by hand, using this machine, inserts the hinges and makes sure that they're in the exact right angle. These are all the different hinges. We have a couple different kinds.
Oh, they're so little and cute. Like little dollhouse doors or something.
And then these hinges are all stainless steel and imported from Germany, from a specialty factory that this is what they make, and that's it. Everybody in the factory is sort of a specialist in their own little portion. We have all these people who are just really good at what they do.
Look at that beautiful handiwork right there. How many hinges do you think you've put on glasses in your lifetime?
In my well, there's actually a counter here, so 16,911.
Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot. That's very impressive. And so here you've got a little gallery of some of this building's former uses, one of which was a casket factory.
Yeah, this is the Cardello building on the North Shore, and it used to be a casket factory many, many years ago. So these are some old photos that they had enlarged and put up like a gallery wall, and it's really, really fun and neat. Okay, so this is the tumbler room. This is Dallas. Right now he is going through and pulling out things that have been tumbled in a certain stage. There are 4 separate stages of tumbling. And each one takes almost 24 hours. So the pieces and components move from each part to the next over the course of several days. So he's going through and making sure that he gets all the different pieces. Again, this is something that has to be done by hand. There's not going to be a machine or anything. This is all like human handiwork. You remember when we were cutting, They're a little bit softer, but they're not polished by any means. They're not shiny. They're just a little bit buffed up for now.
And can you flip it around so we can see the little nose bit, what it looks like now?
Yeah. So these would be the ones that have come out of stage 4 of the tumblers. So you can see that they're already a little bit more shiny. They're super smooth to the touch. Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah. So that's like ready for showtime.
Yeah, exactly. So these will be moving into the next stage, which involve assembly as well as all of the bending, as well as laser engraving.
All right, now it's going. How long does that take for it to print something on there?
It takes about a minute or two, and so when it's complete, you'll get to see that our logo will be on there as well as whatever else we've had printed on there, maybe the name of the frame, the size of the frame, or the color. But you can see here that it has the American Sun and Reader Company logo. Again, it hasn't been painted yet. And then down below, it says that it's been made here of global components, which would be the Italian acetate and our hinges. So this is a machine that's going to heat the front. We have to heat it to a high heat so that way when we put in the bend, it will stay. Again, there's a lot of human involvement in all of this. It takes somebody standing and making sure they're timing things correctly. And then we'll go and she will make sure everything is lined up right here in the frame bending machine. So it pushed it down and now it's curved properly. So Cynthia's going to double check it and then it goes into this cool water to cool off and to maintain its shape. So this is Chris and he's actually our frame designer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
The frame designer himself coming in to do some frame choreography.
Exactly. Oh, it looks like he's taking a screw and he's putting it together. So remember those hinges that we put in, as well as the piece on the front? He's got to take the tiny, tiny little screws and he's going to put the frame together with a little screwdriver. Okay, so now he's going to move it into the temple bending machine. So he is getting it specifically in there at the right angle. This is a really fast process. And when he pulls it out, the temples are bent. And that's the part that will go over your ear.
And then what's happening on these little like buffing machines?
So this is our polishing, and this is one of the last steps after assembly. So there are 4 separate stations that they go through, all with a different consistency of compound. And then once it goes through final polishing, it will go over to quality control. So we're going to go over here, and we're going to meet with Brian and Christine. So they're going through every single pair that's finished. They're checking the hinges and tightening them or loosening them depending on how the tension is.
And so how many glasses are you making a day? I know it's a multi-day process, but like how many glasses are you finishing a day or a week?
Yeah, so we can do up to about 100 a day. That would be our goal. Some days it's less, some days it's more, depending on the intricacy of the style. But here's a finished pair of glasses.
Gosh, it's wild just to see all the components together.
Yeah, so this is, let's see, this is our historian style, and the color is called kaleidoscope. That's one of the best parts of the job is that we get to name all the colors.
And so a new thing on your website is now you can go online and put in your prescription, and then this is your optics lab? What do you call it?
Yeah, this is our optical lab. So we have a whole bunch of machines in here that do what's called edging to take prescription lenses and to edge them to both the correct prescription and to also fit the frame.
Wow, gosh, it feels like it's like a little alien autopsy where these little prods are like poking the frames and all the parts.
Well, that's a little filler, and it just comes up and goes inside the bevel of the
I'm
lens.
going to have nightmares about this. This is like a little horror movie for those frames.
This is pretty basic stuff here. All the information is brought over. It tells me that it's a polycarbonate lens, and it's ready to run.
Is it like spraying water in there? Is it wet?
It will spray water. There are diamond wheels on there, which they spin. It goes through a couple different processes. First, it will take off the rough edges, cut it down to the shape of the lens, and then it puts a bevel in it so that it will pop into the frame.
There it is. You've got a finished lens inside some sweet pink glasses. Gosh, it looks great. And so if people want to, get some Pittsburgh-made glasses, they can go to your website?
Yeah, AmericanSunandReader.com, and you choose your frame, you choose your color, you tell us what kind of lenses you want, and then we make it here.
Gosh, so cool. Thanks so much for the tour. This was awesome.
Yeah, thanks so much for visiting.